get in or anything like that. So this will be shared later for you guys to go back to with the recording. So without any further ado, so I hope you're all familiar with our website. If you go to racinecountyfair.com, we have two different areas. We have the junior class and we have the open class. So junior class is for anybody who is in a approved youth organization, 4-H, FFA, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, homeschooling, anything that a youth would be participating in that could be relevant to one of the departments that we have, right? And then open class is open to anybody who wants to show. They don't have to be part of a youth organization. We have many, many opportunities and many different departments for both. So open class and junior class are the two that we can do. There's two different websites for each of those. I'm gonna kind of do them side by side so that you guys can see how we're set up. So if you click this button, enter junior class here, it's going to take you to a website that's very colorful and kind of looks like a lava lamp. So this is the introduction page. Welcome to the 2024 Racine County Fair Junior Class online entry site. So you want to make sure that if you're entering a junior exhibitor, that you're on this site. If you're not, then you're going to go to open class. If you hit the open class button right here, and this is going to take you to a page that has a wine glass. We always set up our junior and our open class separate to have separate pictures in the background so that you can distinguish one from the other. There's also different website addresses for open and youth. One is Racine O, and then the other one is Racine. So youth is always Racine, open is always Racine O. So that's kind of a difference as well. So then this one says, welcome to the 2024 Racine County Fair's open class online entry site. So if you're entering open class, that's where you want to be. So then I always suggest that you read these very carefully because sometimes we'll put notes in here for folks that we try and get out as much as possible. We'll also email, but if there are notes that you guys should pay attention to, I would always recommend reading this. So entries are due June 16th at midnight. Before you start, please go to our website and download the Fair Premium book. All of our premium books or fair books are available online. So all you have to do is, if you're entering antiques, here it is. All you need is right here. Same with our junior class. So say you're gonna enter Legos, right? So you would enter that under mechanical projects, just pick the premium list, and here it is. Anything that we have available in mechanical projects is right here. So that's kind of how those work. If you have any questions ever for the online entry process, you can always email me or call the fair office. I get all of my emails on my phone. My extension is directly to my cell phone. So no matter what time of the day, I will be able to help you. Make sure you correctly enter your exhibit. Exhibits incorrectly entered may not be accepted, judged, or eligible for premiums. That's kind of standard wording. We're not responsible for entry errors. After the closing of the deadline, oh, let me see here. Oh, here we go. Okay. Hello, you made it. We're just kind of starting going through the process, so you haven't really missed anything yet. So after the closing of deadline for entries, no changes to your entries are allowed. Once June 16th hits, You have to have a signature from the superintendent in order to be able to change. But we do not, like, if you ask me to change something, I will not do it without superintendent approval. That is Racine County Ag Society policy. It just helps us keep down on the paperwork and the number of changes. Entry fees are listed here for open class. And then you are also required to either opt in or out of having your photo taken. So that's open class. Youth has the same wording for almost everything except for these two little blurbs here. Livestock exhibitors, you will be prompted during the entry process to upload your YQCA certificate. This is a required step for all exhibitors in beef, swine, sheep, goats, rabbits, and poultry. I will go over that. Don't worry if you're not sure how to do that. If you're planning on selling an animal, you will receive further communication closer to fair regarding uploading a photo for the auction add-ons. Every year we have an ad on the livestock auction or the fur and feather auction, and we facilitate through the livestock sale committee the add-on process through ShowWorks. So that is also part of this piece as well. But you will actually receive further communication from me about how to do that down the road, but we will go over it in this workshop. So that's the intro to the site, right? So that's just kind of the first part of it. So then the second piece is registering. So when you register yourself on the home, on I guess what I'm gonna call or refer to as the home page, you click this little register button here and here. Now, if you are a family that are going to be signing up multiple exhibitors, or in open class, you want to sign up like your two significant, like you and your significant other, or you and your family, I would suggest using a quick group. When you do quick group, it's very important that you do it from the get-go and you don't do it and try and add it after you've already registered somebody, because it's going to end up getting very convoluted in your receipts and it's going to get very confusing. So I will show you a single person sign in and registration, but if you want to see the quick group, we can go back and do that later. So I'm just gonna register my significant other. Let's just do that. And so when you put your first name and last name, make sure that you do it is case sensitive. So whatever you register as in this piece right here will flow through to what is printed on your entry tags. So case sensitive does count in this instance. Always pick, if you're registering for the first time from year to year, always pick I am a new exhibitor. We basically we don't delete everything, but we basically set up a new system every year. And so we need you to register every year. We can't keep it from year to year unless you're using ShowWorks Passport. We don't really have a lot of folks that use ShowWorks Passport, but it is available. But for now, we're just gonna keep it simple and do first name, last name, and I am a new exhibitor. So then you're going to want to choose a password. Make sure that you write this password down, make it as simple or as hard as you want. But you must remember the password if you want to get back into your entries once you have submitted them. So I'm just going to make a simple password. You're going to have to enter it twice, just like you would like a normal website. So then address too is only if you have like a unit number or anything like that. You can also, it's certainly acceptable to put like your unit in here. It's however you guys want to do it. Oh. So then all of this stuff is just your contact information, just in case like we were to need any of that information. And then you have to re-enter your email. And then for youth and open, we require your date of birth. So we require that just to double check that, hey, like you are eligible for youth or you're eligible for, excuse me, your senior rate discount for open class entry fees. That's literally all we use it for. We don't use it for anything else that would, like, we don't share that data with any. So there is a question in the chat for does open class refer to? Open class refers to a anybody who is not part of a youth organization can enter open class. So open class is basically designated by the state of Wisconsin for entries and entering the fair. So there are, you can do cut flowers, you can do plants, arrangements, arts and crafts, antiques, photography, beer and wine, woodworking, food preservation, foods and nutrition. All of that is part of open class. And instead of face-to-face judging and being compared to other exhibitors under the age of 19, you are with everybody. So you could be with a 5-year-old to all the way to a 99-year-old. And the judges are blinded to the judging to the exhibitors. So when they judge something, they don't know who's showing it. They're just judging it compared to all the other entries in that class. So you will have a first premium or a blue ribbon, a second ribbon, a third ribbon, and a fourth ribbon. And all the other entries, regardless of how many are in there, will not have any sort of ribbon. For youth or the junior class, everything is done by what's called Danish judging. Danish judging is where you have like 10 items in a class and they can get 3 blues, 2 reds, 2 whites, and a pink, or something similar to that. So when you're face-to-face judging, you are basically getting, like, the exhibitor is also getting judged on what they learned, how they did the project, what the quality of the project is, but it's not compared to everything else in that class. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So back to entries. So your date of birth is important to enter. Please make sure it is accurate. We'll just do that. So for a premise ID is only if you're showing horses, dairy, beef, sheep, swine, goats, or poultry. It's basically something that is given out through the Wisconsin Livestock Identification Consortium. It is so that the state of Wisconsin can track where the animals came from in the case of an outbreak. So any animals that come to the fair have to have a premise ID. So if you have animals, make sure you enter that into the field. If you sign up for an animal and you don't have that in the field, you will be contacted. YQCA certificate number is also for all exhibitors in beef, sheep, swine, rabbits, poultry, and goats. That is a new requirement this year. It has to be entered at the time of entry. Something new for juniors this year is your club or association name. We do require that when you like add your entries, but we are requiring it when you register just so that we can keep track. It's for record keeping for my end. So we're just gonna put a club in there. So then that brings us to the photo release. You have to choose an item. Either you agree or you do not agree. If you do not agree, that means that we will not use your photo as part of like our like Facebook or website or anything like that. We will not use it. And then for youth, we do require you to choose a t-shirt size from extra small to 3X. So that's just in case like there's a department that wants t-shirts or anything, they have your sizes so that they can order them before fair. So that's the registration. It's the exact same piece for open class. You want to make sure that you're case sensitive. I am a new exhibitor, and then you hit continue. It's a little bit less involved because we don't require premise ID. We don't require YQCA. We don't require club. We don't require t-shirt size or anything like that. So you get the open class exhibitors actually luck out a little bit more with the less information. Nope. While I'm filling this in, does anybody have any other questions? So there is a question in the chat for you just put address where animal is located. No. So the premise ID would be a 6-digit or a 6-character like ID that's given to you by Wisconsin Livestock Identification Consortium. So what you do is you go to WLIC. You can Google that. We can just do that really quick. Of course, I'm using Brave, so it doesn't want to play nice. There it is. So WIID.org is where you would go. And then it says, and then right on the homepage, it says register your premise. So when that happens, you have to fill out all of this information and then what you have. And then what will happen is they'll spit out a code for you. And then that is what you would put in this instance. So it's going to be like something like this. That would be what a premise ID is. Very good question. Okay. All right. So then we would hit continue for both of these. And then it's going to show up with basically a confirmation saying the following information will be associated with your name. Any changes you make may not be reflected for a delayed period of time. Usually any changes you make will show up when I go to download. I don't actually go get any of the content until entries close. So whatever changes you make will filter through when I go and get the entries. So there is a question. I am signing my kids up for their 4-H project. Should I enter their name or my name in the registration field? You would enter the exhibitor name. So if you have an exhibitor, say Joe Smith, but your name is Rhonda, you're going to sign up Joe. So make sure that you put whoever is going to be showing that project or that exhibit, that is who you register and who you put in the registration field. Good question. And then I will hit continue for this. So then just make sure that you verify everything and then continue and then hit continue. So then here's where the fun part begins. So now we are finally to the nuts and bolts of entering, right? So there's a lot of different departments. These would be all for junior, and then all of these departments are available for open. How you can tell is they say open next to them. Most of them say open next to them. Some of them don't because we had to create new departments. But most of them say that. The other way you can tell, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but any youth department is going to have a single, is going to start with 0. Any open department is going to start with 100. So that's kind of how the state of Wisconsin keeps it different, because we are governed for the fair by the state of Wisconsin legislation called the ATCP 160. So there is a rhyme or a reason to our madness when we have these department numbers. Those are actually made and required for us to name them how we have named them through that legislation. So there is a rhyme to our reason at most of the time. So for youth, say you wanted to show a market steer for youth. You're gonna choose the junior, the beef junior, and then the market steer. That's gonna bring up this little piece of all this drop downs and everything. And then it's very, very important that you read these special instructions, because those are also how we try and communicate with what is needed and like what you can and can't do. So exhibitors may only enter each class once. We always want you to refer back to the fair book for complete entry descriptions. Sometimes we have to shorten, I have to shorten the way that it's written, so that it fits in the system that I used. And sometimes it can cut off some of the stuff. So we always want you to refer back to the fair book. And then for beef, or any animal really that requires YQCA, this statement is going to be here. In order to add your entry to your cart, a YQCA must be uploaded. And then for some of the animal departments, we have confirming your entry for the beef department indicates you will agree to abide by all rules listed out in the 2024 beef department listing. For open class, it's a little bit easier. You don't necessarily have all of that information in the open. So it just says exhibitors may only enter each class once. Please choose open class as the club. That is very, very important. Whenever you're entering open class, you want to choose open class as the club. You don't want to choose anything else. Like even if you want like your entries sent to a different club, or you don't want to come and pick them up, so you want them sent with a club that gets picked up, we need you to enter the club as open class. Unfortunately, we can't make that as the only option just because of how our system works. So it's very, very important that if you're entering open class, you choose open class as the club, so that your tags print out correctly. If you don't, then I have to go in and manually change it. And sometimes, if because there's like 16,000 entries, I can miss one. And so then your tag is missing. And so then I have to print it again. So please, whenever you're entering open class, choose open class as the club. And then again, as always, refer to the 2024 Fair Book for complete entry descriptions. Very important. So that's kind of how that is. So for youth, what you can do is you have the option to choose multiple, or you can just choose one. It's whatever you need to enter. So if you're bringing 2 steers to the fair, you would choose your first and your second market animal, your club. I put Tucker in just as an example. And then you also have to, for some animals, you have to make sure that you are like acknowledging I've read, understood, and agreed to follow these rules. Same with the fair book rules. These are required to fill out or acknowledge. So then we can add this entry to our cart. So when we do that, it says entry into this division requires that you upload a scanned document / form for fair use. Click the button below to complete this task. Any animal that requires a YQCA, you will be required to do this for your exhibitor. However, you only have to do it once. And it's when you're completing this for the first time. So if you have a steer and a pig that you're showing, whatever you enter first is what you have, like where the YQCA will be required. Once you do that, it's connected to the exhibitor, not the entry. So it will follow the exhibitor for their 2024 fair career. So when we say it says, okay, let's continue. So you're going to choose a PDF file of the YQCA. I don't have anything on here that would be a PDF. I don't think. Let's try this. So if you try to upload a JPEG, I don't think it's actually gonna like allow you to. Oh, it did allow you to, but you should upload a PDF. If you do not have your YQCA yet, you have to have your YQCA in order to be able to complete your entries. So this is very important. So then just hit done. So you can upload a JPEG even though it says PDF. I didn't even know that. So we learned something new. And then it'll hit done. So it is then recorded per your exhibitor. So if you were to go in and add a swine, again, you have to choose all of this. Anything with stars is required. So you have to make sure that you choose those. And you add this to the cart. You don't get that pop-up because we already added it in the beef. So that's kind of nice that you only have to add it once. When we check out, we will get to where where you can upload things. You don't have to upload your YQCA per entry. That is not required anymore. Okay, so for open class, let's say you wanted to enter the antiques department. You would find what you wanted to enter. So let's say glassware. Again, exhibitors may only enter each class once. Open class is the club. Refer to the 2020 Fair Book, 2024 Fair Book. So what's important is that you can just pick which ones that you want to do, and then you can leave everything else blank. And then again, make sure you hit open classes, the club, and then add entry to cart. When you add the entry to the cart, it says added to your cart. You may continue to the next section or select another division. Um, so when you have that, you will see on the left-hand side of your screen that those 4 entries were added to my cart. And same for youth. I have 2 market steers and a market hog added to my cart. So those entries will, the entry fees will automatically add. So say I wanted to do Legos. I'm going to go to mechanical projects, go to Legos, and then choose the ones I want. Um, Tucker was already filled in for me because it filled in from the previous one that I did, and then add those entries. And then those entries will end up in your cart right here. Any questions about that information that I just shared? Perfect. Okay, so for I just want to show you this in open class for foods and nutrition. What I was saying previously was when we have um, like foods and nutrition, each entry consists of one small loaf, no larger than 6 inches unless otherwise listed. So it would be like gingerbread is one small loaf, no larger than 6 inches. If we go to our open class fair book for foods and nutrition, we can see that there are actually down here, right? Oh, now I have to wait for it to. We can see here that there's a little bit more information in the fair book than what is actually in the entries. So it's always very, very important that you look at the fair book when you're doing your entries so that you know exactly what you need. The system that we use is not perfect, just like any system isn't perfect. So we want to make sure that you guys are prepared as possible. And it's always you refer back to the fair book because that is like the, I guess, the Bible of exhibitors for what you need. Okay, so I'm just going to add gingerbread, make sure it's open class, and then add that entry. Okay, so that entered right here. Excuse me. So now we've finished with our entries. What do we do next? A lot of times what will end up happening is folks will miss this step. So it's very important that you not miss this step. So if you just hit continue, it'll bring you to items. The items are where you add your open class entry fee, your additional season passes. If you're showing goats, you have to say like what goat pens like how many goat pens you need or what goats you're bringing or how many you're bringing. So the open class entry fee is for anyone under 62 years of age. It includes a 5-day pass to the fair that you will get in your entry packet. Or if you're a senior, 62 and older, then you choose the senior pass. You have to physically enter this in your cart, otherwise it won't add for you, and then you can't pick up your entry tags without paying for it. So that's how, and then that's how you add it, and then that's the total that will get added to your cart when you hit continue. Now, if you want an additional season pass, do not add additional entry fees because that's not going to work. You can only enter one. So if I keep hitting the plus sign, it's not going to work because I have it set to 1. You will be able to add a senior entry fee, or you'll be able to add one or the other. Just add what is appropriate for your age. That's just how we had to set it up for the system to work. If you want an additional pass, like your family wants to come or something like that, you would add an additional season pass to your cart. This is a 5-day pass. It's a 5-pack of tickets, so it can be used for any day. That is the one that you want if you want to add a pass to it, a season pass to it. After June 16th, the season passes go up to $45. So it is, we do give you a discount for buying them through the entry process. So that's open. Youth is a little bit different. Youth, because you only have one entry fee, you actually have it added for you, and you can't add or subtract anything. So it's there. But if you do want an additional season pass, you can do a pass for each family member. But if you only are going to have a family member come each day, you can then just buy an additional season pass and distribute it amongst the family for that day. But if you have multiple family members coming for all 5 days, then yes, one pass per person for the 5 days. So for the additional season pass, that's all you can add or subtract in youth. So it's a little bit easier for that. So yeah. So then if you hit continue and you see and you watch this screen, it will add it to here, and then it will also, this is also your cart. So here's your review of cart. You see here that I have a first market animal, a second market animal for beef, a steer or a hog market animal, and then 3 Lego displays. And then it automatically entered in the $15. So it is, because it's 15 cents per entry. Sorry, there's a question in the chat. If I didn't buy an additional pass when registered, can I still buy one before June 16th? And if so, how would I do that? Yes, you absolutely can. So what you're going to do is use your username and password to go back into your entries, and you can go directly to items and add that to your cart, and then just simply check out after you've added that. It combines everything together, because that's why you use your username and password that's registered to you. It combines everything under that, and it will allow you to do that. So I have 7 items in my cart, including the entry fee. It's 15 cents per item. So if I'm reviewing this and I see, oh, I didn't actually want to add this any other Lego project, all I would have to do is hit the red X to remove this, and there it goes. It disappears from both the left side and the center screen. If you wanted to save this cart for later, you can certainly do that and come back to it. Just don't forget, because June 16th is the hard deadline. I physically shut off entries after midnight. So you will not be able to get into it. So just don't forget to go back to it if you save it for later. If you wanted to empty cart, that's totally an option. You would just hit this button, or if you want to add more entries, you can add more entries here or go here. So when you check out, it will take you to a payment screen. So this is just where you add your your credit card information. Obviously, like, this is not a real credit card that I'm using, but you can use like the address you use to register, or if you want to use a different address, you can certainly do that. The only thing it won't fill in is the billing country. So if you go here, enter a valid credit card number. Oh. No, it's not going to let me. So basically you just have to add a real credit card that it will recognize. And then you can continue. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second so that I can. There. Okay. Okay. So hopefully everybody can still see my screen. So I entered in the information and it brings me to this page, and it says you have one more step remaining. Your items will not be added until you type yes in the box below and click submit. So what I'm going to do is hit yes. I agree to the above statement. Online submission of data requires that you agree and will abide with the terms as defined in the published rules and regulations of the FAIR Premium Book. So basically, it's just saying that you agree to follow the rules. So then when you hit submit, I don't know if it will let me. Yeah. So if you hit submit, there was an error in processing your payment. You can click the back button, and that's totally fine. But it will, so when you hit submit, it will give you a receipt. It will email you a receipt, and it'll say success. The items, your entries have been completed, and you can review them at any time. Let me see if I can get this to work real quick. Bear with me one moment. Does anybody have any questions while I am working on this? Okay, I got it. So I will share this back up. Okay, so what you're looking at is a successful entry of a youth exhibitor. So your entries were successfully submitted. However, you have 3 entries that require files to be uploaded. That is because I entered a beef and I entered a swine. Now, you don't have to do anything with this step right now if you choose not to. You will be able to do this later. We do keep these open through FAIR so that pictures can be uploaded for the add-ons. So you don't have to worry about any of that at this time. What you get then is a confirmation ID and with all the information, and then what you can do is print a detailed receipt or also email a copy of my receipt to the email you provided at registration. If you are going to print a receipt, this is what it's going to look like. You have all of the information that you entered before, but then you also have a unique identification code associated with that entry, as well as what your entry fee was, how you paid for it, all of that jazz. If you do not see this, um, make sure that you contact me right away. I have the ability to go into the admin site to make sure that your entries were actually completed and everything looks good. So if you don't see this receipt, make sure you contact me because something may have gone wrong. Um, so then it brings me, once I closed it, it brought me to the upload screen. You don't have to do anything with this net, like for now. You just have to make sure that you remember to go in and add a picture if you want a picture of your exhibitor on the add-on like site. Open class, luckily you guys don't have to do that. You guys don't have to do any downloads or uploads, I mean. So once you have this information, again, it's review your cart, make sure that everything looks good. You can either edit or remove as you need to. It's the same exact sort of process. So then check out with your credit card, and then you will also get a receipt and everything like that. So say you want to go back in after you have entered to enter additional things, right? All you have to do is use that username and password that you had before, and you can add as many entries as you want. It is again 15 cents per entry for that, but you can add whatever you need to. So if we wanted to do that, it'll show up here again the 15 cents, and then you don't have to. It will actually say like for junior class, limit per person has been met or item has been sold out. That's because you already have one. So it won't let you get another one, but you can certainly add additional season passes. So I believe that was a question that I answered earlier. So what you can do is you can just go back in, add that, and it'll add it to your cart, and then you can check out. And it's the same process for checkout. You can add as many entries as you want as long as it's one entry per class. And it will basically add all of that to your user profile. And then when I go to download everything, it will be all under your name. So same thing with open. Again, you can add as many things. It will, once you check out the first time, it will allow you in your items to like if you added an open class entry fee, it won't let you add that again, but it will give you the option to add an open class entry fee senior. So just make sure that you don't add unnecessary things. So yeah, that's basically what I had for this workshop. Does anybody have any additional questions? Or would you like to see something that maybe caught your eye that I didn't go over as in detail? All right. So thank you very much for joining tonight. Again, this meeting is being recorded. So I'll just stop the record now.